Gravity feels simple. Drop something and it falls. For most of human history, we believed gravity was a force, an invisible pull that draws objects together across space, a kind of cosmic magnetism that acts instantly, everywhere. But that picture is wrong. Gravity is not a force in the way we usually imagine. It is something far stranger. To understand gravity, we need to rethink what space and time actually are. Space and time are not separate things. They are woven together into a single structure called spacetime. And spacetime is not flat. It can bend, stretch, and curve. Mass bends spacetime. Imagine placing a heavy ball on a stretched rubber sheet. The sheet curves under the ball's weight. Now roll a smaller ball across the sheet. It doesn't move because it's being pulled by the heavy ball. It moves because it's following the curved surface. That is gravity. Planets don't orbit stars because they are being pulled by a mysterious force. They orbit because space-time around the star is curved. The planet is simply moving along the straightest possible path through that curved space-time. From the planet's point of view, it is not being pulled at all. What feels like a force is actually geometry. This idea comes from Albert Einstein's theory of general relativity, published in 1915. It replaced the older idea of gravity as a force with a much deeper explanation of how the universe works. Gravity doesn't just affect motion, it affects time itself. The stronger the gravity, the slower time moves. A clock closer to a massive object ticks more slowly than a clock farther away. This effect is tiny on Earth, but it is real and measurable. In fact, GPS satellites must constantly correct for gravitational time dilation. Without those corrections, navigation systems would drift by kilometers each day. Gravity literally changes the flow of time. Near extremely massive objects, this effect becomes dramatic. Around neutron stars and black holes, space-time bends so strongly that time nearly comes to a stop. A black hole is not a giant vacuum cleaner pulling everything in. It is a region where space-time is curved so steeply that all possible paths lead inward. Even light, which normally travels in straight lines, follows the curves of space-time and cannot escape. The boundary where escape becomes impossible is called the event horizon. Nothing special happens there locally. An object crossing the event horizon does not feel a sudden pull or force. It simply continues along its path through space-time. But from the outside, time appears to freeze. At the center of a black hole lies a singularity, a point where space-time becomes infinitely curved, and our current understanding of physics breaks down. Gravity also shapes the universe on the largest scales. Galaxies form where space-time is slightly denser. Entire clusters of galaxies are held together not by invisible forces, but by the geometry of space-time shaped by matter and energy. Even the expansion of the universe is governed by space-time itself. Space is not expanding into something else. It is stretching from within. Gravity is not a force that reaches across space. It is space. It is the shape of reality telling matter how to move, and matter telling reality how to curve. Once you see gravity this way, the universe becomes stranger, but also more elegant. Nothing is being pulled. Everything is simply following the shape of space-time. And that is why gravity isn't really a force at all.